Hey, what's up soldiers? My name is GregFPS, the Zombies Extraordinaire, and welcome back to another Call of Duty Zombies Top 5. Now today guys, we're going to be doing the top 5 biggest feeling maps in Call of Duty Zombies besides Transit. So this is not necessarily going to be the largest maps in Call of Duty Zombies, but this is what people commented on Twitter when I asked what the biggest feeling map was in Call of Duty Zombies. Now we do have an IW map on the list, which is pretty exciting for Infinite Warfare. All you fans out there, I know they're there. We got one of the maps included within this list, so hope you guys are excited about that. Now it's a fairly good list. I do disagree on a few of them, which is kind of how it's supposed to be. I would say, like, all these lists are community voted, so I don't always agree with them, and it's pretty exciting. So without further ado guys, let's skip the chatter in the beginning and let's just get right into the video. Coming in at the number 5 spot is going to be Moon. Now when I think of Moon, first of all, like, the biggest part of Moon that I think about is the biodome. The biodome is completely massive. You can pretty much fit like the entire size of Mob of the Dead, like up top, like the cell block area, even the roof and all that stuff inside the biodome by itself. Like, the massive surface area that is in the biodome is huge. A lot of it is just empty space pretty much with like plants and whatnot, but the biodome is massive. And then also on Moon you have the mule kick side on the other side of that area, and that area is also fairly large. The only thing that's really there is sometimes the tubes outside, and also mule kick and the box location, and then the teleporter as well. Underneath the teleporter then you have like the MPD area, which is also fairly large, and you have tunnel 6 and tunnel 11, which are also, you know, pretty big areas. I would say I think tunnel 6 is a little bit bigger than tunnel 11 just because of like the random corridors that don't matter at all whatsoever, so I don't even know why they're included. But hey, I'm not going to judge Treyarch. They made that back in like 2011 or something like that. And then also you got to mention that we also have the main area, like the starting room, and then you also have area 51, which is a fairly large area as well. So Moon is a pretty big map when you think of all the different areas that it does have and the surface area of those areas. So Moon comes in at the number 5 spot. People said that this map felt fairly big, but not the biggest, so I decided to include it in the list, and it went off all votes guys, because a lot of people usually tell me like multiple maps. So Moon comes in at the number 5 spot. Coming in at the number 4 spot is going to be Dierise. Now when you think of Dierise, you don't really think of any like massive areas. I think the biggest room that I think of on Dierise right away is like the Buddha room, and that room is fairly large and it's pretty good for training, really easy to train, especially with the Sliquifier. And before the Sliquifier got patched, you could kill zombies in that room for days, and it was so easy because you would just keep chaining zombies every single time. Every round you could shoot like twice and kill the entire horde, which was nice. Now also on Dierise, you got to remember all of the different areas to traverse around the map. There are so many different layers. Like in just the main building where you build the trample steam, there are like 4 different levels in that all are fairly large areas. And then you also have like the jump across area where the pylon is, and you have underneath where the pylon is as well. And then you have all the different elevators that go up to different levels. You have the power room, all that stuff, and not to mention you have the Buddha room side, which has a bunch of different areas. You also have where the box can be upside down. I mean, there are tons of different levels, and sometimes it doesn't really feel like Dierise is that large, but when you think about all the levels it does have, you kind of have to agree that it is a very large map. So Dierise comes in at the number 4 spot. Coming in at the number 3 spot guys is going to be Attack of the Radioactive Thing. And I personally thought that Spaceland was going to be like on this list, but no one actually voted for Spaceland. All the IW fanboys commented Attack of the Radioactive Thing, and I kind of have to agree with this one because just the beach alone is massive. You could fit like 3 nuke towns inside just the beach area. That like boss fight area is so large. large. It's crazy. So not only do you have that, but you have the campground, you have the street, you have the spawn room going to two different sides. One of them has like the entire playground area, which is pretty much the size of Nuketown as well. And then on the other side of that, you also have where the buses are and things like that. So there are definitely a ton of surface area around Attack of the Radioactive thing. It is so annoying when you have to go all the way to the campground to get like toilet cleaner when you're doing the step where you have to mix all the chemicals, like the chemistry step. It's really annoying when you have to run all the way over there because it takes like a minute and a half just to get to the other side of the map. So definitely Attack of the Radioactive thing definitely is one of the largest maps. And also it's really annoying when you have to like change the colors as well when you're trying to get all the proper numbers for the different chemical compounds that you have to do for the chemistry step. So Attack of the Radioactive thing comes in as the only Infinite Warfare map in the number 3 spot. Coming in at the number 2 spot is going to be Revelations. Now, when you think of Revelations, I mean, this map is massive. You have the whole Origins side, then you have Mob of the Dead, which is fairly small, but you do have the cafeteria, and then you have Verrucht, which is pretty much the entire Verrucht map, which is a fairly large area, not to mention all the areas with the corruption generators. There's 4 of them, and that's fairly large as well. That's like one Nuketown side per corruption generator. And then you have all of Dierise and Drac. You have the entire Kino theater, which is pretty much all of Kino as well. And then you have so much area there, not to mention you have the Apothecon that you go inside and knocked in the middle of all those different areas. And you also have Shangri-La as well. I think I forgot to mention that one. And even the starting room is huge as well. So overall, Revelations is just a massive map. I thought this was personally going to be the number 1 spot, but you guys will see the number 1 spot in a second. But before we get into that, let's get into the honorable mentions. There's actually 2 of them, and I think I was the one that picked these honorable mentions because I feel like they're both huge. The first one is going to be Call of the Dead. I think Call of the Dead is bigger than Moon and also bigger than Dierise, so I kind of disagreed with those votes. I think Call of the Dead is one of those maps that a lot of people forget about, unfortunately. And Call of the Dead is so big because you have the massive like huge boat, and there are so many different levels to that boat. Not to mention the starting room is definitely bigger than Revelations with all the water. It's like a massive lake of water. Now granted, you can't go all the way down to the other side of the water from the starting room, like beach area, and then back without getting frozen to death. So I guess you wouldn't really consider that like a playable area, but at the same time, it's still kind of possible. So it is fairly large. And not to mention that you have the entire lighthouse side. In front of the lighthouse is huge. You can go through the lighthouse, you can go down in the lighthouse and all the way up to the top. And also you have the flinger that can launch you across the map. You have the zip lines. I mean, this map is definitely large, so I think it should have been included within this list. I think it is bigger than Moon. Let me know what you guys think down below. And the other honorable mention is going to be Mob of the Dead. Now I would say that Mob of the Dead deserved to be an honorable mention. I feel like Moon definitely feels a lot bigger, so let me know what you guys think as well. I would definitely say that Moon does feel a little bit bigger than Mob of the Dead, but Mob has a lot of different levels. You have this whole cell block, you have the infirmary, you have the cafeteria. Underneath the cafeteria is the laundry room. You have the entire spiral staircase all the way down to the docks, and you also have the bridge, which is a fairly large area as well. So Mob is pretty big, but I wouldn't say it's bigger than Moon. And last but not least, coming in at the number 1 spot for this week, the biggest feeling maps besides Transit is going to be Origins. Now I kind of expected this, to be honest. A lot of people love Origins. It's like a fan favorite map, and it's pretty overrated, to be honest, as well. But besides the point, Origins is massive, man. You have so many large areas. You have the 1,000-foot robots that step and make huge footprint areas on Origins themselves. Like, each footprint is like one side of Nuketown, let's be honest here. And you have a bunch of them. And then also, like, just the generator 3 area is big. The Gen 2 area is fairly big. You have the whole tank path outside of Gen 2, which is massive. And also the excavation site has so many like levels to it. There's a huge level just going down when you have to turn the different things to be the correct color for the staff you're doing. Also, the church is pretty big. You have the upstairs and downstairs, and then the entire tank paths on either side of Gen 4 and Gen 5 are huge that you have ride on with the tank. And not only that, but you have the tunnels to go and get your stone for the different staffs. And you also have the crazy place, which is another massive area. So there are definitely a lot of different things going on when you play on Origins. As far as like the size of it, it is definitely one of the biggest maps. So anyways guys, that is going to be the list for today, the top 5 biggest feeling maps in Call of Duty Zombies besides Transit. Now these once again are maps that feel big but aren't necessarily the biggest. So anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is GregFPS, the Zombies Extraordinaire, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.